It's a Hot Co-Pilots podcast.
I mean, we'll probably... Well, I imagine we'll mention once or twice how hot it is in this episode. But currently, this is coming out in September, and just please try and remember how hot it was back in
July.
I had to look at what month we're in. That's how hot it is. I'm so confused. Yeah, it's a werewolfy special. Big Wolf on Campus and Werewolf. I hadn't heard of Werewolf until you put it on the spreadsheet. But there is a weird theory that's forming in my head that's like the number of weirdly cool things that came out in 1987. I'm kind of wondering if 1987 might have been the best year for entertainment. There's a lot of stuff that happened in 1987 that is a lot of my favourite stuff. So,
Okay, reel some things off.
Not Werewolf.
Spoilers.
Guns N' Roses released Appetite for Destruction in 1987. Stand By Me came out in 1987. Bon Jovi released Living on a Prayer. What else happened in 1987? It's one of those things that I keep noticing. It's like, that's 1987 as well. The Chadian army destroys a Libyan armoured brigade. That was...
Oh yeah, no, I remember that being a real highlight of being -3.
Eazy-E's first song, Boys in the Hood, was released. The Simpsons cartoon first appears as a series of shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show. No, that's the horrific atrocity. What else happened? Martial law in Taiwan ends after 38 years. Konami releases the video game Metal Gear in Japan. Rick Astley releases the hit single Never Gonna Give You Up.
So it was the year It was the year Rick Rolling was born.
Michael Jackson releases his 7th studio album Bad, which, swings around.
Turns out he was.
He was giving you all the clues. The first KFC opened in China. Yeah, there's quite a lot. Square releases Final Fantasy in Japan. The first Starbucks stores outside of Seattle opened. Here we go. Famous births. This will be good. I literally don't recognise it. Why don't you do the social bits while I'm looking for someone recognisable who was born in 1987?
Oh well, yeah. We have social media, not run by our social media professional. Nope. We're at Real Co-Pilots Podcast on Instagram. Real Co-Pilots on Twitter. Search for Co-Pilots Podcast on Facebook.
I've got
and just download the podcast everywhere that you can find podcasts, apart from Acast. Despite Joe's insistence, we're not on Acast.
Check Acast though. Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic.
Andy Murray, the Scottish tennis player, because he lost this year.
Noah Reid, who you'll know from Schitt's Creek. Kendrick Lamar, Lionel Messi, Sebastian Vettel.
It's been at the Grand Prix all weekend. They've had these big screens up and they've been going through like drivers' date of births, and fuck me, some of them were only just born in the last millennium.
That's mean, isn't it? It's like that when the footballers came out and they were like, oh yeah, here they go, the penalty takers. And it's like, oh right, yeah, that lad's 19 years old. Wiz Khalifa, 1987. Tom Felton, your favourite. Zac Efron. Kevin Jonas, Karen Gillan. Yeah, so a lot of cool stuff happening in. I don't think Liberace. Oh, this is deaths now. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, Liberace wasn't born in 1987. Rita Hayworth, who you'll know from Shawshank Redemption. Fred Astaire, he died. This is like the bad part of. It's just too hot. It's just too hot to do anything.
Yeah, that's going to be the weird thing. This is coming out in like September.
Yeah.
So hopefully it won't be 30 degrees in September, but...
Hang on a minute. So, September... Yeah. What's happening about now? Hopefully shit's gone back to normal. But somehow I don't think so.
Well, I think this might be normal.
Yeah. That probably makes a lot of sense. What isn't normal? Fucking werewolves.
No, werewolves I would consider abnormal at best, supernatural at worst.
Super natural. I like werewolves. I really like werewolves.
Yeah. This was an episode for you.
Oh,
so
cheers.
if you didn't enjoy these,
Yep.
we're going to have some problems.
Oh well, get ready for some problems. Right.
How many problems?
One mainly in the shape of Werewolf from 1989. Was it 1989? 1987.
Yeah. Is it that it's quite long and not very much happens?
It's more the fact that it's quite long and not very much happens twice. Because it's the same story twice over. So this is one of the things that I really struggle with when we're doing these is that I'm guessing we're going into Werewolf, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of pilots from historic TV seem to be like feature length, and I think things have changed in what. I'm sorry, I've just been really distracted by the fact I've just noticed that the bounty hunter's called Joe Rogan. So I think shows don't necessarily need to do pilots anymore, do they? So
No.
when you have I could imagine when you have like a Friday night or a Saturday night or whatever, and you want to keep your audience watching in 1987, what you do is you big up a feature-length episode for your show all through the week. Or remember to watch us on such and such channel at 9 p.m. Friday night or whatever, and then make it worth their while for having stayed in and not gone out to to the pub or to a bar or sports game or whatever. So
I'd argue even in 1987 this would not have been worth staying in for.
I don't know, there's flashes of stuff that I like.
Yeah,
I do quite like the werewolf transformation because it looks rubbish, and the werewolf fight at the end is awful. But I really, really, really enjoyed them.
Yeah, but then I'm pretty sure this episode that is, what was it, about 90 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it has like 3 fairly well defined bits that you could go, yeah, you could just end it there and I'd be
Definitely.
happy. Well, and then you could pick it up here and then end it there. It's like they've just stitched 3 episodes together.
I think no.
Rather than making like an actual through line for a feature length episode. So I think for me, enough for the pilot would have been, oh shit, I'm a werewolf now.
Or I thought another place is when I can't remember her name, but when she reveals that she knew the whole time that he was a werewolf, so that would be a really good place to end, because then it's like, what? So she knew this entire time that he was a werewolf?
Yeah, like those, they feel like very sort of defined, like end of episode cliffhangers.
Yeah, I do wonder if they.
But for whatever reason, it's all.
I do wonder if they did just stitch them together. The series aired on Sky One from 1989 to 1990, apparently. The show had a 2-hour pilot, 28 half-hour episodes. See, that's the other thing, is that just before we started, she said, hey, you know how long that was? The next episode is 20 minutes. And I was like, yeah, that would have been much better, But
yeah, that's the thing. It's just it's very long and quite a lot happens, but nothing that feels like it needed to happen in the pilot.
Yeah, it was almost like an entire series
I think,
in one episode, wouldn't it?
That's the thing. It felt like a one-off, special, rather than.
I think we call those films.
Yeah, it feels like it's a feature-length episode, but it feels weird to do it to start it off.
Yeah, I mean, the whole I tell you, I really, really like the opening when he's getting ready and he said, "Oh, there's 2 sorts of people: those who believe in UFOs and those that don't." And then it comes back to that at the end. that I really, really liked. And I think you're right. I think there was too much in it, because suddenly it's like, first chap kills himself. The second one, he gets bitten, and he's like, oh, okay, well, now I'm a werewolf. But then he's like, oh, well, now I need to kill the person who started this bloodline. And that really felt like it was that could have been a long arc,
Well, because at that point you can just go, you've established enough characters by that point. You've set out because I think by that point they set out the rules of werewolves, how they work here, because it's not the, oh shit, it's the full moon, I better become a werewolf. It's like, oh shit, it's been 3 days, I guess I'm a werewolf now. But I think, it just seems a bit like there's so much in it that I don't know. I'm not that interested in watching more of it, because I feel like I've already seen, or I've seen enough of it to go, oh well, this is just him trying to trace his bloodline. Well, his werewolf dad or whatever, who he finds and kills in the first episode, but it's not him because he's still a werewolf.
Which actually is, I'm just reading on, that actually is the end of the show, is that he gets to the guy, and then he's like, oh yeah, no, it was this other guy. So hence that's where they were going to carry on with further series and stuff. It's annoying, 'cause on paper, I really feel like I should have liked this, but it's just too long. No, there's bits of it that I do, like I said, like the werewolf transformation. I mean, what year was American Werewolf in London? That must have been, it looks like it was informed by it. Or it looks very similar to the Company of Wolves transformation, actually. I've got the Blu-ray of American Werewolf over there, I could go and look at that, but I'm not gonna. So American Werewolf in London was 1981, yeah. So that sort of changed what werewolf transformations look like. I'll tell you what else they really like in the show, just out of nowhere. Big old guitars.
Yeah, it is very American, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the trouble. It just, I think you're right. It's just too much for one episode.
Isn't it? I think we always agree that
particularly
2 hours is a bit much for a pilot.
The main driving force of it is all this stuff happens to one chap who then dies, and then you just see it happen to a different guy. Well, I know we've been here before, It didn't really do much different from it, apart from the fact that he goes after Janos Skorzeny or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it would almost be better if it was just like a series of 4 TV films, where make them once every half year or something. And every half year it's just him chasing down some other guy.
Like the Sherlocks.
But yeah, I just didn't. Yeah, that's the thing. I just didn't fuck with it.
It's a shame because, like I say, on paper, I think if I'd watched this when I was sort of 15, maybe I could have forgiven more of it. But yeah, it's really thrown me that the bounty hunter's called Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm looking just at the. Just looking at the werewolf traits and stuff that this has, and I'm just, it's a weird one because it seems like they transform at will, but they also have no control over it. So I don't know if maybe they don't specifically mention the full moon, or maybe it's just when they're some parent werewolf or something transforms all of their bloodline transform.
That would be quite an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not against like
Rules.
tweaking the
Yeah.
like mythology of how werewolves work. I think it's more interesting if you change it slightly.
New with it, then what's the point? Oh, they got
Yeah, if you
wings.
just change it to be bullshit, like, oh, or they're just a shapeshifter that they can change like a bit at a time. Like, yeah, cool, that's a waste of time. But because I think the part of it, it's the unwillingness, like it's the being forced into the change that is the bad side of being a werewolf. Well, I mean, no, that would be quite good exercise.
Yeah.
Like, who needs to go to a gym? You can just go to a forest. Yeah. Oh, that's it. So apparently it's just a random change. The pentagram thing on the hand just turns up and they're like, oh shit, I'm going to change into a wolf.
Fair enough, they get a bit of warning. Like,
But convenient at night time. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's less fun when werewolves have warnings. Less fun as a viewer, not to exist in that universe. To be like, oh yeah, no, just werewolves. They don't get any warning that they're going to change, and then they're like, it's just like, oh shit, there's a werewolf now.
If there was like, it wasn't tied to the moon or anything like that. It was born and it wasn't free will. It was literally random. So like, you could not transform for like 6 months, and then in 2 days you transform like 20 times.
Yeah, well that's it. So there was
No.
Have you seen all of
only
Being
saw the
Human? Or?
First series.
Oh, so in a later series, George manages to like half transform himself into a wolf by fixating on a picture of a full moon. Yeah, admittedly it's like his last episode, but he manages to pull it off to like get all of like the strength and stuff, and then just like.
I should carry on watching that.
Yeah, it kind of fucks him in the end. But
it's in Bristol, which is my favourite city other than London. They moved to Wales.
Until they move to
I'm
Wales,
not
but
watching it.
yeah. If you watch the next couple of seasons, you'll figure out. Actually, if you watch season 2, you'll figure out why.
Not all of them necessarily make it.
Oh no, they all make it to Wales. But yeah, no, Being Human is good. You should watch more Being Human.
Well,
But what did you think of Big Wolf on
being
Campus?
a kid and watching like Saturday morning telly, because this was on, and actually there was a time where I was a little bit scared of anything to do with wolves and werewolves. So when this came on, I was like, that's exactly it.
Is it because you were once bitten by one and now it's by your hair?
Like it was really nice to go back and watch this. Like, I did really like it. Only thing, like, I mean, it references Teen Wolf in its first episode, and I think that was quite a bold thing to do. But yeah, I think it's sort of in the same vein as Sabrina, isn't it? It felt like a response to Sabrina. But then also, like, I think, Buffy was going by this point, wasn't it? So it's like Buffy and Sabrina for kids. Isn't it? Buffy for kids and Sabrina. It's like, that's the crossover. Seen what the whole thing?
So you've already seen this all, haven't you?
No, not even a lot of it. I've seen some
Big Wolf on Campus, or a lot of it.
I just remember thinking it was really, really good.
That's the thing. I want to say
Is this the Saved by the Bell thing?
Nostalgia, I think, might be playing a big part in that because I thought this was a bit like it was funny in places, but
No,
I
I
thought
don't think I'm
overall,
going to go back and watch it.
I mean, I wouldn't go back and watch any more of it.
It was.
They have an episode called Muffy the
I
Werewolf
mean-
Slayer.
Yeah, that is quite obvious, isn't it? I don't remember like any other villains particularly being in it. I suppose like the idea of the first one is like it's school that's the villain in a way, and like being a teenager, that sort of thing. That's what I did notice is that I did like that both of these series had the same sort of effect when the wolf was running through the streets, just that sped up camera.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the. I think I got the feeling that it's just going to be him trying to come to terms with being a werewolf and trying to find a cure, but not
Yeah.
really
I do find it a bit
finding
weird
one.
that,
and just having to cope. I think, yeah. I didn't get the feeling that it was going to be like a villain of the week or anything. It's just going to be like a
yeah, I think
socializing's the problem when he accidentally turns
I
into a
think
werewolf
there
because he
are
forgets that
villains
it's a full
show
moon,
up.
like a dumbass.
But I don't think it very favourably looks upon like geeks and the D&D crew, because he's always even he like taking the piss out of see, I can't remember his name, the annoying one. Yeah, that's it. No, not Tommy. Danny. Yeah.
What, Tommy?
Not Danny.
Danny.
Merton. That's it. It's like.
Oh, Danny. Yeah, Danny's his actor.
Same. And
I remember.
think
I only know that
thought
because I
recognised
googled who he
him 'cause
was.
He looks a bit like
So I thought I recognised him, but I don't.
the kid out of My Parents Are Aliens, the Scottish one. I love that show.
Possibly. I don't remember. He just looked like he's got a pretty generic face, so I thought I recognised him.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it just seems a
Yeah.
bit.
With, like,
I guess it's 90s.
this side of stuff,
campy
I'm
stuff, isn't
alright
it,
with.
really?
Saved by the Bell, I wasn't okay with. So I feel like that's one all.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah. I know,
something you
like,
remember
quite
watching as a kid,
big
something I remember
impression.
watching as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just one of the, it's not bad, but it's not. Yeah, it's not really like it's not.
I think it was a bit weird.
It's not even
that,
not
like,
my jam.
he's
I
at the
like
start, he's
werewolf
out
shit,
camping,
but
and then he's with his mates and stuff, and then he gets bitten by a wolf, and he doesn't know that A, he might not even know it's a wolf, B, he definitely doesn't know it's a werewolf, but he doesn't tell any of his mates, and none of those friends show up again.
yeah, and
Like, you think he'd just come and go, hey,
Yeah.
guess what? I think I need
Is a little
an ambulance. I got
odd.
bitten by something.
I got bitten
Maybe
by a
that's
wolf,
why
but
they
the
go, "Oh,
the,
they've never
the, the
believed
cuts
us,"
disappeared.
as well.
Yeah, and then he also appears to just turn into a wolf
Oh,
a
yeah.
bit randomly.
I mean, to be fair, I
Yeah,
think
like he
does
throws a
take
football and then he's
few-
just like, "My arms are hairy."
Yeah, almost entirely it takes from Teen Wolf. What would have been interesting is if we paired this with the new Teen Wolf that started a few years ago. But there you go. We'll have to find another werewolf show. We'll have to pair Teen Wolf with something else. I don't know if there are any other like Werewolf TV show. There is an old Teen Wolf, but that was a film.
Wait, is there a Teen Wolf, an old Teen Wolf, and then a new Teen Wolf? Oh, I see. There'll be another werewolf show. There's always another werewolf show.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I particularly enjoyed either of these. One because it was too long and just wasn't, and the other because I don't know, it just felt
Oh wow.
weirdly
And there's
Big Wolf
about
on Campus
10 years
felt
between, if
older,
not a bit more, doesn't
I
it?
think, than the one from 1987. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just I don't think. I don't know. It just kind of felt like early 90s rather than like getting sort of. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think now anything that doesn't have like
Oh, I'm
mobile
really looking
phones in
forward
it.
to doing Star Trek.
I'm just like, nah, it's old. Too old, don't like it.
No, but they got futuristic mobile phones. At
Yeah, I mean, I never held out much hope for the Star Treks. But, yeah, exactly. That's probably
bet
what we
there's
designed
stuff-
the
yeah, I bet there's
Motorola
something
Razr off.
to that.
Just like, flip up communicator. Make it look spacey. That's the thing, it would have been make stuff look like it came out of Star Trek. And until the point that they went, oh, actually, it's actually really inconvenient to have a phone that folds in the middle. Just give me one big screen. Get rid of all those buttons. But I wonder if maybe if these had been...
Yeah.
I wonder how different these
Well,
would
I mean,
be if they were made
it's
now
pretty much-
with Netflix money.
Big Wolf on Campus would be Riverdale, sorry, but with a werewolf. And Werewolf would probably just be, I don't know, some Vampire Diaries type thing, wouldn't it? True. You're joking.
I don't know, they might never have made it. They might have just gone, fucking 2-hour pilot, you're having a laugh.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually no, to be fair, but they just be like, yeah, it's episode 1 split in 2. And then fucking that co-pilot's podcast, they'll do the first half, slag it off.
Yeah.
Then they'll watch it off and be like,
so
shit, I was
next,
wrong.
What are we up against next? Hello? What's Glitch? Do you know?
Oof. Next we've got Glitch.
Cool.
Glitch is Netflix's.
Oh,
I think
is
it's a
it based on
Netflix
a
one
French thing?
where people
It's
just
based-
start waking up from the
There
dead.
was I might be thinking of like The Returned or something. There was a French TV show
It
that was about
might
people coming
be.
back from the dead. Maybe it's similar to that. So that and vampires.
A police officer in a
So,
small country town finds his life turned upside down when 6 recently deceased residents return from the dead in perfect
Vampire
health.
Week special. Cool. Good.
No, probably not. It
Yeah.
might just be
Well, like I've always said, the ones that I don't know.
Two
about,
sort
the
of
ones I look forward to
spooky-
most.
shows.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's
obviously
good.
it's no cucumber and
That's
banana
good.
smoothie, is it?
I hope that you enjoy them more than I enjoyed this
we
week.
really hit a high. We hit a high, and now we've hit a
No. Oh, throw in a little bit of tofu. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, when you look back at this stuff we've done, they're good.
We have had a real good run.
It's not bad. But yeah, it's a shame you didn't like.
Yeah,
the,
from like
the werewolf.
Peep Show to
Never
Cucumber.
mind. We'll try again. Is that what the purpose of this show is?
Yeah, that's the thing.
No,
We'll
it's
just keep
true.
trying till we find something that we.
Something happened today.
The thing, I will give them this. They
I
are
was
not
listening
worse
to
than
a podcast.
Entourage.
And then that podcast finished, and before I could switch to the next podcast that I wanted to listen to, I started hearing an advert, and it was from Jeremy Piven, who you'll know wowed everybody in Entourage, and he still sounds like a massive bellend. I don't know, and less do I care, but in the advert he was like, hey, you may know me for... It was literally Troy McClure.
Who was he?
Like,
Was
you
he
may
the
remember
lead
me from such things as...
guy?
And that's right, Entourage. And I was like, I don't need to listen to anything you have to say about anything at all. Great. That's lovely for him, I suppose.
Yeah, he's like the second main character. He's 55.
Impressive, disappointing. Anyways,
It's just
yeah,
impressive he
they're better than
survived
Entourage.
so long,
That's what you can say about these werewolves.
having been such a cunt in a TV show.
Well, it's
Yeah,
the best.
that's the thing. I think
Sorry,
it's
the
the lowest
accolade
accolade we can give
until
something is that it was
worse
better than
but
Entourage.
I'm not sure that's going to happen unless we start going into like reality telly. But we're not. No.
Yeah. Well, do you reckon at some point we should just do like...
For this.
I'm just... Hear me out. We've watched
Yes.
somewhere in the region of 300 TV shows. Have you seen those like YouTube videos where
That's fine,
people put stuff
but
into
I
like a
want
tier list?
300 very specific categories.
Do you want to do
sort
that,
them
but for
into.
300 TV shows?
Entourage. Then
Well, no, we'll
better
just...
than
I
Entourage.
only know the bottom two categories and the top one. The bottom one is worse than Entourage, then Entourage, and then the top is Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, the
and
category is
then there's just
called-
a middle category that has about
Right.
297
Let's see
shows
this
in it.
Fuck you, see you later.